Yeah, so the question is, how do I, if someone's sharing their story and it's very painful, you know, and I start to feel like I'm gonna cry, you know, what do I do? Or like, is it okay for me to cry while listening to this person? Or like, what do I do in that situation? And it's so important to differentiate here between why, what is the, you know, what is the grief that's coming forward? Is it that I'm having such deep empathy with this person and their story that it's like moving me to tears? Because that's one thing, but it's a whole nother thing when it's like, it's triggering our own grief, right? And it's moving that, and then our grief is kind of coming up, and if we start to like, you know, sob and bring our personal grief or experience to the center, then that person who is sharing their story with us might feel like now it's become all about us, right? And now they have to hold our grief for us. And obviously if we're facilitating or, you know, holding space for someone else, we don't want to be doing that. But like, just generally as humans, we don't want to be doing that, right? We want to be able to like make space for the other person. And then if we feel our stuff coming in, you know, what you can do is name it. Like, whoa, I'm really noticing that my stuff is coming up now. And, you know, you might even say like, I don't want you to have to hold that. Right? And then you give the other person the opportunity to say, you know, yeah, like, I don't have the capacity to hold that right now. Or they might say like, actually, like, I'd love to hold that for you, right? Like, I totally have the space for it right now. But rather than like just expecting, just kind of like emotionally vomiting and like expecting the other person to hold it for you, it's so important to, you know, to have that negotiation, to name what's happening, to ask for consent, and to see what can happen, right? And it's so important to be getting support in our lives so that we have, you know, go to freaking therapy, go to a grief support group, get friends around you who you can mutually support each other, and do that and make sure it's mutual, because your stuff, your responsibility, right? It's like, even if it came from somebody else, it's only you that can work with it now and transform it. So that is your job. And I say this with total love. And yeah, comment below. I'd love to hear from you if you've had that experience of someone else kind of like, well, vomiting their grief onto you, or if you're catching yourself, if you're listening to this and you're like, oh God, I've totally done that. And I'd love to hear from you. And you know, it's like no shame. It's like, you know, it's like when we recognize it, then we can change it. So like, no point in like going into a shame spiral about it if we realize that it's something that we've done in the past, right? We've all done it. We've all had those moments where like we haven't been contained and someone else has had to hold our grief for us and it's become all about us, right? I've definitely had those moments. Like in my 20s, I didn't know what it meant to do that and to hold space differently. So yeah, let me know what you think. Blessings.